campus in the chat. Go ahead and be checking your screen name and make sure that it is listed how it should be on the roster. If you're undergoing a name change, go ahead and list it how it is listed on the roster, your first and your last name. If it has not officially occurred yet, list it however it's on the roster. Have about 30 seconds and we will call it start time. All right. Well, good evening and welcome to week one. Welcome to community. I'm Dr. Ford, Professor Ford. Any of those is okay to address me by. I am in the great state of Alabama. I am on Central Standard Time. And welcome to community. Just a little background. I've been a nurse for a good little while. Let me just pause. These sessions are recorded and they are viewed by the attendance administrator. So just keep that in mind. So we'll go over this once we go about orientation slides, but just go give you heads up. Make sure that you are on camera. Make sure that you're dressed appropriately. Ensure that your screen name shows your first and last name how it appears on the roster. So that's just a little housekeeping, like to, just make you aware of that. If you're not on screen, we're going to try to push through. We do get our 15-minute break. I know it is late. This is a late class. And so if you have to go to the restroom or attend to an issue that's occurring, where you're at, send a message in the chat to myself. Don't send it out to everyone saying, hey, going to the restroom or whatever it's going on, and then come back on camera. So in order for you to be counted as present, your face must be visible. In the event that you have to walk away, restroom or whatever, put a message in the chat to myself. Again, good evening to everyone. It is official start time. Like I said, welcome to community. Week one, we're going to go ahead and get started. So what I would like for you to do is to tell me your first and last name in your campus. I need to write that down. So you can just go first, everyone's going to get a chance. And I'm ready when you are.
I'm Tony Matthews, and I'm from the
Jasmine.
Hold on. And then we hear someone talking, you all just pause and wait till the person finish. I heard Tony Matthews, and I didn't hear anything else after that.
Cuyahoga Falls campus.
Got it. Good evening and welcome. Okay, next.
Jasmine Hogan.
I know we're trying to sing that song, right? But go ahead.
Okay, I'm Jamela
Jasmine
Martin.
Hogan, Centerville.
Okay, again, one person.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
She's muted. Okay.
Hogan, Centerville, Ohio.
All right. And
Can
welcome.
you guys hear me?
We can, yes. Another housekeeping tip. In the event that you lose connectivity, like Tuesday and Wednesday, a storm just popped up. My connectivity, I think I lost it for like 1 minute or so. In the event that I lose connectivity, you just stay right there. And I'm coming back. I'm logging in, unless it's just dangerous. I won't log back in, but you will get a notification. In the event that you lose connectivity, log back in, send an email, communicate what's going on. Okay? Because you just never know. This weather is extreme everywhere. It seems like things just come out of nowhere. So, all right, Jasmine Hogan, Centerville, Tony Matthews. Gotcha. Next person.
Jamela Martin, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio.
And welcome.
Patricia Seibert, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio.
Candace Kibler, Centerville.
Centerville. Welcome you all.
LaRonda Hunt, Cuyahoga Falls.
Welcome.
Alexandra Pop, Centerville, Ohio.
You said, what was your last? Okay, and you said Centerville, Miss Pop.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Corey Schrand, Centerville, Ohio.
Schrand, okay, got it. Welcome you all.
Victoria Sanders, Centerville, Ohio.
Okay, gotcha.
Elena Kleiman, Cuyahoga Falls.
Miss Kleiman, got it. All right, welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Carla Nelson, Centerville.
Miss Carla, got it. All right.
Brianna
Ashley,
Blue. Oh,
Centerville. Oh, shit. Didn't hear either.
You can go ahead.
Ashland Banks, Centerville.
Gotcha, Miss Banks.
And then I'm Brianna Blue, Cuyahoga Falls.
Gotcha, Miss Banks. Miss Blue. Banks and Blue. Gotcha.
Alexis Pelagali, Cuyahoga Falls.
Alexis Pelagali. Miss Falls. Okay.
Madison Forsyth, Centerville.
Centerville. Okay. Welcome you all.
Amy DeAnthony, Centerville.
Okay. Got it. Is that everyone?
Ronika Williams, Centerville.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I am not sure if, and I'll throw these little reminders out as they pop in my head. If you have changed sections, and this is for any class, for example, if you were originally in a class on a Monday and you changed to a Tuesday section, ExamSoft isn't open yet. Not really sure when it's going to be open. I think they said maybe the end of second week. But anyways, it doesn't happen often. It has happened since I've been here since 21. So every now and then the change does not roll over. So what happens is when the student goes in to complete the practice exam and the exam, because they're in the wrong section, the section change did not roll over to ExamSoft. It delays the student from completing that practice exam. So just put a note in, if you change sections for any class, same class, but different day and different time, just make sure that it appears the correct way in ExamSoft. Doesn't happen often. Another thing is with your textbooks too. I don't know if you all are seniors, so you pretty much know how to look for your textbooks in the list on your syllabus where they are listed. So you look at your syllabus, and then you look over in your resources that's under your modules. Make sure the additions match. Doesn't happen often, maybe like 3 times over the last couple of years, but every now and then, I don't know what it is, something didn't roll over correctly. The correct addition will be listed on the syllabus, but the student will have the incorrect addition in their resources tab. So just make sure that you check that out. Okay, so I know you all looked and saw the announcements. I know y'all like, what in the world is all this stuff? So you're on your way. You're on your way to finishing up, sitting for that NCLEX at one time and finish up these last courses that you have. And so we just found it best that we front load as much stuff as we can. And then that way you can, take the rest of week 1 to, get your footing. So you can kind of start looking at your calendars and saying, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to pause on this. Oh, I need to delete this. So stepping back, looking at your entire picture of all the things that you have to get done, work, family, your fun, and your schoolwork. So that's why we uploaded all that stuff. So you can just go ahead and be getting a look at it. And I'm trying to pull it up now and figuring out what you need to do, when and where. All right, so here we go. Let me share my screen here. So anytime that I'd rather you write down, and you might want to do this for all of your classes somewhere, write down, print out, have it easily accessible in more than one place for your courses, the Zoom links. Because I don't know if you remember at the end of the term, was it this last term or was it the term before? I'm not really sure. We couldn't get into Canvas. So make sure that you place for your courses, your Zoom links, your meeting IDs somewhere besides relying on it to be in Canvas. Put it somewhere else, send it to another email. That information can be always found on the syllabus cover sheet for all of your courses. So hopefully you're looking at that. The office hours are there as well. And then the Zoom information is listed twice on the sheet. It's there and is at the bottom here. So just make sure you're placing that Zoom information. How do I close this up? Somewhere besides let me stop sharing. I don't see that close, but somewhere besides in your Canvas shell, because there will be times that we finding out as that you cannot access your Canvas for whatever reason, but you're still expected to show up for class. So gotta have that information somewhere besides inside of Canvas. Okay, and it's also right here. So for all of your courses, and I know you all probably know this, so it's just a review for you. In here, you have about your instructor tabs. The information is here. Zoom quick information. You have the course, the professor's information, the course leader, and also Dean She. She's the new online dean. Dean Brown has retired. But anyway, this is a place that you can quickly get that information, but make sure it is somewhere besides inside of your Canvas shell, just in case you cannot access Canvas. You need that information quickly. All right, so we have your ebook, you have your syllabus cover sheets is there. We're gonna go ahead and move on up to our class, online etiquette and expectations. So you all are professionals. So these are just reminders to you. You've been out in all the different settings and everything here. So we want you to be on time, according to your handbook. For this is a handbook. Attend, and we'll talk about this a little bit more once we actually review the orientation PowerPoint. 15 minutes is the least amount of time that 1 minute up to 15 minutes counts for. So if you're late in the class, 1 minute, 10 minutes, it equals 15 minutes. Over time, that can result in a letter grade drop. It can negatively affect you. So for the most part, all of your online courses, we usually have the Zoom open like 5 minutes till. Sometimes we open up before then. So go ahead and log in and go ahead and finish up what you have to do. But make sure that you're on time. This is Thursday. So in the event, not this course, but once you look at your schedule after tonight or your classes, if you have classes on tomorrow, and you step back and look at your big picture and you say, hey, I need to take, whatever your other course is on a Monday, that would be better fit for me. Go ahead and put that in writing, because you're going to need that, because if it's going to cause you to be late into classes, that time is going to negatively impact you. But you may have already looked at that and are in the correct classes, correct times. If you are, that's fine. But just know 1 minute equals 15 minutes being docked. So make sure that you're on time, be fully present. In the event that you have to step away, the expectation is that you're on camera and we can see you. These sessions are recorded and they're viewed by the attendance administrators. In the event that you're not on camera and you have not sent a communication as to why you're not on camera, then you're going to be deemed missing from the class, and it's in 15-minute increments. We want to make sure that we're dressed professionally. Make sure that you don't have any see-through clothing on, your pajamas. I know it's late in the evening, but still we need to be dressed professionally. This is your class. Make sure that you're in a good location. We don't have a lot of time in this class, but we have a lot of information. We want to make sure that your foundation is strong. So when you sit for those exams, your HESIs, your unit exams, you are ready. You're ready. So if you are not talking, make sure that you're on mute, just so that this recording doesn't pick up anything that doesn't need to be recorded. Okay, so come prepared to take notes, to ask your questions if you have them. You will need to, on the front end, go ahead and start reviewing your information, those required readings. So do you want to put away any devices or anything that's going to cause a distraction to you? Like I said, we're not here very long. This is not a long class here like some of our others. So we do want you to stay engaged. We do ask you to come off mute sometime and respond. We ask you to place an answer or response in the chat. We may put you in small groups. We might do cahoots, but nevertheless, we do want you to participate. This is a safe space. So in the event that you get it incorrect, we're here. We're all on the same team. We will help you along the way. So recordings, we do post the links to the classroom recordings. Usually they'll be posted by this late. They'll be posted by tomorrow because we have to download them and upload them. But nevertheless, commit to going back through your classroom recordings. More than one time, chunk it up. Even after we take the first exam and like, oh, got weeks 1 and 2 down, Week 4, still go back, because remember, you have that HESI. Remember, you're going to have that NCLEX, and you're gained for all of this information. So just keep refreshing yourself with chunks of that information. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat, or I can pause and answer. Okay, let's see here. We have tons of math information here, all different types. I think we have a link for a video in there, some worksheets and things. So just make sure you click that and seek out what you think you need. Some campuses have a person on campus that can work with you one-on-one. Some campuses now, all of them don't have that. You would need to seek that out if that's something that you need. Oh, this is a message right here from one of Dr. Lundy's former students. Just check that video out. She just gave us feedback on what she thought was helpful. And we get a lot of feedback also on that survey that you all are encouraged to complete at the end. And we do factor in and take consideration of your comments and everything. So got math, check your campus out, see if that person is there, if you need that. APA, make sure you look at this right here. So, you do have your discussion questions. You have to have those 2 references. And then you have to, when you're responding, you need to have a reference as well. So this documents, 2 documents here, PowerPoint and just a sheet that shows you, just a quick reference. Purdue OWL is pretty good about helping you with that, doing your citations. Even though we're knowledgeable, it's still not our own original information. So we do want to give credit and make sure that we are citing those sources. All right, so right here in week 4, well, next week is our first quiz. So we'll take that as you have been taking those quizzes at the beginning of the class, we start. But then when we take the quiz in, I think it's week 4, because yes, week 3 is exam, week 4, we'll take what we call adaptive quizzes. Anyone familiar with the adaptive quizzes? Is this the first time you all have had those? Or have you taken them before? Adaptive quizzes. No one's had those? Okay, I'm not hearing anything. Okay, so what they do is, and it's tailored to you as you answer the questions. It's similar to, I guess, like the NCLEX. So based on your responses, correct or incorrect, the next question is built upon how you answered that previous question. So we'll talk more about that, but that's going to be week 4. You'll still take those proctored in class as well. Okay, so this right here, week 1 assignment, your professional development plan. So we have some samples here. So read through that. And what you can actually do is, I think one of these is blank. That's the rubric. Okay, yeah, this is it, the template. You can just open that up and just fill in your information, however you want to do it, but this is a blank template here. All right, so we already given you, we're gonna talk about that in just a moment. The course cafe, that's where you all can communicate, and it's not mandatory, but that's just another place that you all can communicate as a team, toggle ideas off of each other and everything in there. We do have the exam review schedule already out, so you can already plan. There are 6 of us. Let me just see. I think it's 6 of us. So these are live exam review sessions. There are various dates and times. We got them all mixed up. No, you more than likely cannot attend all of them. Hopefully you can pencil a few in on your schedule. But if not, if there's a recording, we do share those. So at a minimum, commit to at least, if you cannot attend, hopefully you can, reviewing the exam reviews. Even though we're all talking about the same information, you all know, you would say it one way, I'll say it another way, but just that repetitive of it, it allows you to remember, and it just builds that foundation. So no matter how you ask about that concept, you're able to respond. We had, most of your questions are next gen. A lot of the questions are next gen. So far, and it's a method to our madness, I will say that. And what we found out is it's been working. Students for the next gen part, what was our percentage over the last couple of terms? No less than 80% on those next gen questions. So what that means is students have been rocking. and they have said providing all these different resources has helped. Now you figure out what works for you. You know, not everything, we all have different learning styles. So you figure out what works for you. I wanted to bring this to your attention. Not only do we have all of these different sessions for each exam, look at this right here. We have Professor LaMarie, I think it's how she says her name. Lemaire, that's how she says her name. I'm saying it incorrectly. On Wednesdays, this is every Wednesday at 11 Eastern time. She reviews concepts, you just drop in, and this is available for you. If you can't attend, you know, it's not mandatory, but this is just another resource because we are here so that you can be successful. So we're just mixing it up, adding in different resources, just so that we hope we can strengthen that foundation for you. So this right here, you can refer to this, is in your announcement section. So I'm pause and make sure I'm not missing any comments thus far. Any questions so far? No questions so far. Let's go back. Let's see that. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at this accommodation process. So if you have accommodations, I'm going to share my screen here. We need to make sure we go through this. But if you don't have accommodations and you think you need accommodations, there's information here that tells you what you need to do to get that process started. Okay, so if you have accommodations, every term you're being asked to submit your accommodation, your approved accommodation letter, and it tells specifically what those accommodations are. Go ahead and submit that by the end of this week so we can get that information to the testing administrators so they can put all that information in because that's going to mean that it's going to affect your quiz and your exam, your quizzes and your exams. So if you already have accommodations, you already have that approved letter, send that, drop that to me in an email so I can forward it on to your campus dean, to Dean Sheed, and then course lead, Dr. Lundy. And if you don't have accommodations, but you think it might be something that you actually will need, this is the information here. You will need that current letter to start the application process from your healthcare provider. And then you will have to upload all that or submit it. And then it'll go through the process and then hopefully get approved for you. But we need to have that in because remember our exam, first quiz is next week. And then the first exam is going to be week 3. So if you already have it, go ahead and send it to me. And if you think that's something that you need, a resource that you need, go ahead and look into it. Start talking to your campus deans. They're the ones that assist with processing it. All right, NCLEX here, NCLEX instructions. So open this document up. So refer back to this, print it out, however you need to. But all of it, all the NCLEX instructions are here. The ones for week 2, week 5, week 8, and week 10. It specifically goes ahead and tells you what you need for that week. On your rubric, it says refer to your instructor. It tells you to refer to something, but this is what you're referring to. You can always recall and look here. Week 2, go through here and see what you need to do. Which concepts. It tells you the categories and all of that for each week, and they're different. So make sure you print that out or just take the time to make sure that you're looking at that. Okay, we talked about the accommodation process. The NCLEX instructions are there. Your exam reviews are there. And then this Healthy People 2030, again, these are resources that you will find throughout your book. And as we go through your required readings and everything, but we found out if we can just compile certain resources together, you can just quickly reference them. So here it says Healthy People links. You know, we are on Healthy People 2030 now. So right here, if you will open this up, These are all the healthy people information for week 1. So make sure you take the time just to click each one of those. And students have said, some information might not have appeared up on during the exam, but then it appeared on the history. But nevertheless, we kind of compiled them all in one spot. So you're not like all over the place looking for the links. So here it is for each week. Some weeks is not as many, but nevertheless, we can just kind of pull them together. This resource, if it doesn't help you with all of them together, just make sure you follow through when you are actually doing your required readings. It's going to pop up there as well. So we just put them all in one place. All right. So staying on track with weekly work, your to-do list. Let's look at this. So let's open this up. Okay, enable editing. So here's another tool that we placed there. It is there for you. And we list the information by week. Now, if this, some people like this and some people don't. We just kind of pulled it all together. Hey, I need to register my ebook, make sure I can get in SurePass, take my syllabus quiz. It's like your to-do list. Now, all these things are on your welcome each week as what you're going to need to be doing. But here it is all in one document. You can look at it's just a different view. And all of this is on your syllabus as well. It's just a different view. It might be too busy for you. It might not. But you can kind of look ahead and say, hey, I got my exams here. It's, the week of July 19th, which, of course, it falls on whatever day that you actually go to class. And then remember that assignments are Sunday to Sunday, with the exception of your group assignments. And we'll get that information to you on next week about your groups. That one will be open for the entirety of it. We tried it by having assignments open. It's not conducive to the student doing their best. So that's why, we have them closed and open at certain times. All right, so let's move forward here. Check in the chat, no questions. Let's go ahead and now the orientation PowerPoint, you can take notes if you like, but it will be provided for you after tonight. We'll put it actually in the announcement section. So just make sure that you are checking the announcement section. I think you can have it where you can receive your alerts. So, but nevertheless, just make sure you're logging in pretty often just to make sure that you're not missing any information. Let me share my screen here. Uh-oh, I think I clicked the wrong thing. Wow. I did. Here we go. Share. Down right there. I said you can take notes if you like, but we're going to provide this for you. Okay. So what is online learning? I don't think for the most part, you may have had some of your courses in online. If not, it's still the same expectations are there for you to do your best to utilize the resources that you have. In the event that you need assistance, reach out, send that email, send that communication saying, hey, don't understand the concept. We need to jump on the phone. You can send a email thread. You can jump on Zoom, but don't think that you have to just jump on Zoom if you have a question or we need to review a concept or speak one-on-one about something. But the same expectations are there. You want to do your best. You're right here at the end. You're on your way. And we want you to, to be successful here. Let me just make this a little bit larger, y'all. I don't mess it up. Okay, I think that's gonna work. Okay, so for all of your courses, your course instructor, your course professor is the first line of contact. In the event that it's something that I don't have a resolution for, a solution, we're gonna send it on to the course lead. Course lead, we can't figure out a solution. We're gonna involve your campus dean and also the dean, the online dean. but make sure that you're communicating with me about whatever it is that's going on. In the event is you think it's something that I need to know. So this information, remember, is in about the instructor tab. My information is there, as well as our course lead, Dr. Lundy, and then our online dean, Dr. Sheed. All that information is there. Plus, you're going to get a copy of this orientation PowerPoint. So just make sure that we're being respectful of each other, we're being courteous, just being mindful of humorous statements. Sometimes, certain things now don't mean what you think they mean. They meant something at 1 o'clock this morning, but then now at 1 o'clock in the evening, it doesn't mean the same thing. So we want to kind of stay away from slang. Just stick to the concepts. If you have an idea, we'll have a little laughable moment. We'll laugh at ourselves because we may have stated or said something that was kind of silly or whatever. But for the most, let's just be respectful of others and ourselves. All right. So we're professionals. Ensure that you don't have on pajamas, see-through clothing, or revealing clothing. So in the event that they decide that we're failing to comply, it will result in reverting to the campus uniform policy. So just make sure that we're here into that. In the event that, you vape, you want to use marijuana, any of these products, can't use them during the class time. When you're on your break, you're off camera, that's fine. But just even if it's, legal in where you're at, still don't do it during class time. Okay. So remember, the courses have specific start and end times. I'm going to pause again. If you have to go to the restroom, go get a drink of water, because it's a lot of content in this first week of just reviewing, just laying the foundation. Please do that, because we'll try to push our break time toward the end, as close to the end as we can. So just drop a message in the chat to me. Say, hey, I'm going to get some water, restroom, or whatever, and then come on back. Okay. So the online courses that have specific start times and end times, we only meet 1 day a week. So if we miss one time, that counts as 7 days, you all. So, but things happen. You just never know. Just make sure that you are communicating early on about what's going on. Have your documentation. You could be leaving campus or leaving from the mall, headed home, flat tire. Just gather as much documentation as you can. Picture the flat tire, you're paid for the flat, you fixing that flat tire, whatever works for you. But just make sure. So in the event that you're late, we have documentation that you've communicated, and then you have documentation that supports why you're late. Sunday to Sunday, all of your courses, that initial post is by midnight Wednesday, no matter what day your class is on. And then we need you to respond to your peers by that Sunday. Okay, SIM charts, all that stuff is due on Sunday. So make sure that you're signing in with that full name in the chat, and also making sure your screen name matches, because sometimes these devices, they will revert back to their own name, or if someone else, if it's a dual user, it'll refer to the other person's name. So always check your screen name and make sure it matches. We don't want to be in question. Well, why is this person marked present? When we look back at the recording, we don't see their name posted up there. So just make sure, put your name and campus in the chat, and then also check your screen name, and then make sure it appears how it appears on the roster. If you're undergoing a name change, wait until it has officially occurred in the system, and that way things will roll over. All right, let me make sure I go through this right here. Be on camera the entire time. Anyone at work, lying in bed, or driving will be removed from the session. Please, if this is not a good time for you or any of your classes, just think about going ahead and getting them changed, because you can't be laying down and driving and at work. Anyone not coming on camera after being asked to will be removed from the session. Okay. We will verify your login. Even if you log in and then you are on in the waiting room, it's still documented that you are there. So no worries, it's documented. Even if you drop off, it's still documented that you drop off. 15-minute increments is how time is documented if you're missed. So if you're 2 minutes late, 5 minutes late, it equals 15 minutes, you all. And so over time, those 15 minutes can add up. And even if you're leaving early, like I said, just coming into class late, over time, it can add up and it leads to chronic absenteeism. What can happen is a person can receive a full letter grade deduction. Now, who wants that? So, like I said, most of the time our Zooms are open. Go ahead and log in. You get yourself situated. At least you're there. In the event that you have to miss, go ahead and get your documentation and everything that supports it. Now, you might get notifications at this 5%, 10%, 15%, but you might not. But nevertheless, once the system gets to 20, it does its thing. So just make sure if you're having to miss that you have communicated what's going on, and also you have your documentation. But if there's no reason that you're missing, go ahead and log in on time. Log in. Just be there. Okay. So academic integrity, you all, it's an honor system. We're out administering medications. We're reading the orders. We're administering the patient. We're supposed to go in and do a sterile procedure. We've been trained on it. You've been checked off on it. It's an honor system. So it's that integrity. So just make sure that you're staying away from those sites, you all, whatever they are. Don't even look in it just to try to figure out, what everybody's looking at. Because there's somebody, this is real. There is someone somewhere that sits and monitor that. So you won't be notified until the wrong thing, I guess, happens, but just stay away from those sites. When we take exams and quizzes, remember to remove all of those smart devices and all of that information. Remove your resources because you can't use any of that. It's an honor system. This is talking about all those sites. Well, all the sites are not listed here. Just stay away from them. Just kind of stick to what's on your course list, and therefore it won't be any misunderstanding. Is why you clicked on something, because it is real. Someone sits out there or something sits out there and watch that. So in the event that you want to use AI, of course, you do want to let us know that you're using AI. You have to submit your original work, your AI work, and all of that. So most students just say, forget it. Let me just do my own work and cite my references and keep on moving, because that's a lot that you have to do. But nevertheless, but it should not be used as your sole source. You have to have your original product, and then what the AI recommended for you. You have to put those together. So all of your assignments, they go through that originality checker. It's this huge database, and it checks everything. So just make sure that you're doing your own work, and also citing properly. Do those in-text citations. Even though we are very knowledgeable, it's still not our own original work. So go ahead and just do those citations, put your reference there, because if not, it's going to add up. That is plagiarism. Okay. Right here, you must disclose all AI use and must submit the original work with the AI enhancements when the assignment is submitted for grading. Okay, you may not just submit AI generated assignments. All right, so if you're repeating a course, particularly this one, 206, you can't submit the same assignment. So you have to rework it. So go back and update we have another slide here that talks a little bit more on it. Get to that one. So look back at your previous, if you still have that assignment, I think you should be able to access it some type of way. Look back at your feedback that you received. Look at the rubric, the current rubric, and then look at some updated references so that you can rework and redo what you've already done. Okay. So previous work, it can be used as your starting point. Now you can have up to 20%. That's the same. But if you use the different references, you incorporate your feedback in there, you won't even have the 20%. But you cannot submit the same assignment. And then once it runs through the originality, the plagiarism checker, it can't be over 20%. So what can you do to lessen the chance of that? This is talking about the group projects. I'm gonna come back to that slide right here. You want to use new references, do insight, new references. Make sure you're doing in-text citations, reorganize, expand the rationale, And this right here will lessen the chance of you need that 20% going over that 20% threshold. So even if right here on the project, if you that vulnerable populations project that you have to do, you have to choose a different vulnerable population. You know, could be in the same area, but a different vulnerable population, because that lessens the chance of that plagiarism checker grading you more than 20%. So just choose a new vulnerable populations, because there's going to be several that you more than likely you can choose from. And in with the group project, just choose a different role. You know what role you played in it when you had the group project the last time. Just say, hey, I need a different role. And so that will lessen the chance of you, trying to submit the same information. If you are repeating as well, the NCLEX assignments, let us know. Let us know if you're repeating, so we can send you different questions. Because we don't want it to be that you're doing the same information, because it's going to be picked up that you're doing the same. Okay. So reusing prior graded work without required revisions is self-plagiarism. Instructors may compare current work with previous submissions. So if you have those and you want us to look at your work, the current work before you actually turn it in, just turn in both of those so we can see them and then give you feedback on them before you actually put them in the plagiarism checker. Okay. Okay, so if you are, if you have accommodations, please go ahead and let us know about that. The other thing is, if you're a repeat student, you need to go ahead and let us know as well. It is suggested that we do check-ins, even if the check-in is, hey, I am okay, I don't need any assistance, at least that you're communicating that. You want to make sure that you're, like for those assignments that we say that you are repeating, that paper and your other assignments, just you might want to submit both of them or just ask questions, say, hey, would you look at this right here before you actually turn it in? So we've given you a bunch of resources in different formats. You pick out what works for you. But nevertheless, make sure that you are coming to class once we finish, and those recordings for the weekly recordings are there. Go back through those. We're covering the content. And the more you hear it, you gain understanding. And also, if there is still some questions about a concept, you know what to send me an email on. Say, hey, I still really don't understand this concept. This is saying the same thing. Just make sure you're logging in, looking at those announcements. I would suggest when you go to your assignments, look at the rubric, just kind of skim through it. Do you some jot noting? Okay, it says I need to do this right here. Step back from it on a separate time, go back and read back through it again. Because sometimes, when we first look at it, things, ideas, and thoughts don't come together. But if you look back at it again, then it'll all come together for you. You do need your 2 devices for your quizzes as well as your exams. So make sure that you have your devices, however your mix is. If you have 2 laptops, laptop and a phone, however it goes, make sure you have your chargers as well, because you just never know about these devices, you all. Sometimes they'll look like they're charged up, but you go to working on them and they'll power down on them. Okay. So you've already logged in and completed all that information. I did get your emails regarding the information that I asked. Okay. So come to class prepared. You have to do those required readings, you all. It's going to be the only way that you're going to be ready for those adaptive quizzes and your content, and it's how you're going to do your best. Okay. So we have that weekly review. Professor Lemire, her information is there if you can attend. I think those are recorded, but if they are, of course, we'll share those. I believe they're recorded. I'm not really 100% on that. Now, I know our exam reviews are recorded, and we do share the links on those from, all the professors that actually record them. Keep in mind, this key graded assignment, you all keep in mind, your exams, your HESIs, and your quizzes, they make up that key graded assignment. We must achieve that 78% without rounding in order to pass the course. Now, you have to complete all your things, your assignments and everything, but you want to make sure that you are, you have at least that 78% without rounding. I would at least Go for at least the 80, you all. Have students not pass courses because of the attendance thing? Yes, because over time that, it drops that letter grade. Have students score really high on all of their exams, and then they got to the HESI and just kind of blew it off, and that lowered this below this 78%. Yes, that's happened. Doesn't happen very often because the most part, you all are seniors, you're right at the end and you're about your business. You get in there, you read what you need to read, you answer your questions, and you're putting the time in. But it does happen. So I just want to make sure you understand that there's no extra work. The course is set up how it is, and all the components are there. In addition to that, the other percent comes from your additional graded assignments, but you have to make that 78% here. Now, have there been someone that had the 78% here, and then when the additional assignments were added in, they just kind of blew these off? Professionalism, they were not responding in class. They weren't dressed appropriately so they had to be removed, or it didn't count. Things like that. They did not do well on the quizzes, and those additional assignments, it dropped them below that 78%. So, but we know that's not going to happen. But I just want to just bring it to your attention. And then look at this piece right here. This HESI is a whole 20%. That's a lot. So just keep in mind that we need to do our best on all of the exams. Do not blow any exam or any quiz or any additional assignments off, because every point matters, you all. Every point matters. There's no rounding. If it's 77.77, it's 77.77. It's not 78%. There's not a round there. Okay. So homework grades are off. You all know they're off usually weeks 1 through 5. 6, 7-ish, we turn them on just so that you can see the impact. And then we turn them back off. And they remain off until the HESI is remediated. So you all should have experienced the learning plans after you took your HESIs last term. Now it's not based on that time. Remember, if you scored a certain score, you had to sit in there remediating a certain amount of time. That's gone. It's been replaced with those learning plans. And so we do have a slide on here. I'll fast forward to that and come back to those. Ooh, it's way down here. Okay, well, I'll talk about that. It's too many to go up. I'll put a pin in that. We'll talk about the learning plans. And students have said they like that because it's built upon your responses. It's catered specifically to you. And then it creates those videos, it creates those readings and everything specifically based on how you answered. Okay, so this right here talks about what we just said about the 78%. Must have your 2 devices for exams and quizzes. And usually people have a phone, a laptop, or whatever works for you, because you have to be in view. Your device have to be in view. Disable any settings that's going to turn your camera off, you all. Sometimes there's a setting in your device that says, hey, they're not moving around. I don't detect any movement. So what happens is your smart device turns your camera off. So make sure you disable that, because your camera should not go off. It must remain on for the entirety of the exam and the quizzes. In the event that happens, you will receive a 0. So go ahead and, if you know you have that on your set up on your device, you take those, disable that stuff, disable it. Right here it says no excuses will be accepted. Okay, because you know how like your TVs, all this stuff is so smart. It asks you, are you still watching me? Because it doesn't pick up any movement or whatever it's trying to do. And then it turns itself on off. So just make sure you disable that. When we're taking the quiz on next week, remain on the quiz page at all times while you're taking that quiz. No pop-ups, tab switches, or navigation to other screen sites are allowed. You will be prepared because you will put in the time to make sure that you have that understanding of the content. If you don't understand the content, you're going to send that email, you're going to text or something and say, hey, we need to go over this concept so that you are prepared. Okay, instructors actively moderates and monitors for any page exits. Timestamps are automatically sent to validate your activity and integrity. Remember, it's an honor system. That's what we're signing up for. If you break sterility, when you've learned, no one should be there to tell you, let me start this procedure over. That patient is dependent on us to do what we're supposed to do. Okay. All right. Serious consequences for leaving the page. If flagged, activity is detected. Automatic 0 on the quiz. Reported for academic integrity violation. That will be placed on your in your file. Negative outcomes, disciplinary action, record on your file. It will be recorded on your file. Potential impact of nursing licensure or eligibility. So just do your best, prepare, and don't do the switching and all that stuff. I mean, putting sticky notes, places, have it on smart devices, glasses, necklaces, and all that stuff. Just leave that stuff alone. Y'all just come on, let's prepare ourselves. Protect your future. Focus only on what you need to be focused on, and let's get it done. Okay, so quizzes are part of the KGA. We just looked at this unit exams, you have your quizzes, and you have your HESI, 78% without rounding. So once there's only one attempt at the quiz, okay? So our quiz next week will have 10 questions on it, 10, 15, but those adaptive quizzes, they have 25 questions. So that's what we're going with. That's not until week 4. So just make sure that even with your exams, make sure that it's actually submitted. Don't close up your devices and don't click off of it. Make sure that you see that confirmation, because what'll happen is it'll get stuck somewhere, and we have to go try to find it. That only happened like maybe once or twice over the last couple of years. The exam got stuck somewhere and we found it days later. But just make sure that you actually submit it. Wait on that confirmation. Okay. So quizzes must be proctored. Exams must be proctored. And I think we have it on a slide here. Hopefully I haven't missed it. But in the event that you need your unit exam, this is almost the end of week 1. You kind of know where you're at, where your schedule is going, how it's going to fall. Step back, look at your big picture. Work all your responsibilities. And sometimes students say, "Hey, I think I need to take these exams on campus." That's fine. Your campus dean needs that 72-hour notice. We need that 72-hour notice of whoever the approved proctor is. So your campus dean has to approve whomever the faculty member is. Remember, they have to find a place for you. This class is kind of late, so most of the time campuses are closed during this time, but that's fine. If you have an approved faculty member and you all have come up with a date and time to take that exam, communicate that in an email to myself, the course lead, and also include the faculty member in there and your campus dean, and we'll set everything up for you. So, because we've had plenty of students say, "Hey, comes to exam time, I don't want to risk it. Just too much going on in my space." So on exam days, they get that approved proctor. They go through the proper channels, that 72-hour notice, all of that, and they take those exams on campus. I say, just keep in mind, more than likely it's not going to be this time of day or night that your faculty will administer it. More than likely to be early in the day. So, and that's fine. Okay. Week 4. Let's read through this. It's going to be new for you, our adaptive quizzes. So 25 time questions. We'll complete at the beginning of class. You have to be able to get in your eVolve or your SurePath. Both of them, they're kind of the same, but make sure you can get into that. Questions are based on concepts that we cover. So like the quiz for next week will cover, it's the content from this week right here. And then week 4 will be the content from, I'm just calling off the top of my head, week 3 and 2. No, probably week 3. So just look at your modules. It tells you what it actually covers. But make sure that you're prepared. You're going to have to read the information. You're going to have to do all the little clicks. Go through the readings, the slides. Look at those videos are off in there. In that SurePath, it has practice questions, little activities for you. It's supposed to address all the different learning styles. So just give it a try. Let me stop and make sure I'm not seeing any questions. Are there any questions? Like we said, we was going to try to push on through. So if you have to go use the restroom, grab a drink of water or something, step away for just a moment, please do so. But make your way on back.
Yes, I have a question. How do you go get the SurePath?
So how I can log in through Elsevier outright, or I go through my modules, like how your modules are there. You
Uh-huh.
click on, like for example, the assignment. Click on the assignment, and it'll just take you on in there. That's I go either way, but it's best for you to log in through your Canvas.
Through the Canvas. Okay.
Yes. So once you log into your class, let me see, can I pull it up here? When you log into your class, go to your module section. Do-do-do-do. Let's see here. Trying to find one because my view might be a little bit different from yours, but let's see. Let me just click on something here. Let's see if this is going to take us on in there. Go back here. Wait a minute, I've run out. Let's see. Let me go back up. Let me click this way right here. Now, and that's how I'm able to access my book too. Like I said, your view might be different from mine, but if you click on those links, it takes you, it should take you in there. Now, it might take me on, and you all, the team, you all tell us too, because I'm already logged into both of mine, so that might be why it automatically takes me in there. You all, what have you all experienced with that? Now, who was that? We were talking about the book earlier. Someone, and I was asking you all, what did you, because you figured it out. Who was that? We were talking before class. Would you share your experience?
I think, are you talking about me, Dr. Ford?
I think
We
that
were
was you.
emailing. Yeah. So mine was with the ebook, not the shirt path. I think I did get to the shirt path, but I can't remember how I got to it. But the ebook, I got to it through where was it at? Foundations for Population Health, our book title. I clicked on that and it took me straight to it.
Okay, mine's just trying to pull up here too. Anyone else want to share while I'm pulling this up here? How you got into your, okay. So I'm just gonna show you mine. Like I said, mine might look a little different, but I just click on the link, and maybe because I'm already logged in. So it has my courses there. I'll say yours might not be like this. And so when I click on the course, it just, but I get from it from my modules. But it might be because I'm already logged in and stuff. What does it say? Oh, I got an error. Hold on. Uh-oh, refresh the page. Let me refresh it. So try logging into Elsevier outright yourself, like just log in. I'm still getting this error. Might be my connectivity. But I click from my modules and it just takes me on in. So just take a moment while we're here to see, can you log in while I'm talking, while we're still reviewing the information. So just log in outright to Elsevier, because see, like it had all my courses listed there. It should have all of your courses there. So go ahead and just log in.
Dr. Ford. Jamila, I think that's your name. If you look under student resources in the module, the very last one that says NUR 206, shirt path, it should take you straight to it.
Exactly. So that's a shortcut there. I'm close out my thing here. Let me go back to it. Hold on. Like I said, mine's is, I have it set. I think I just stay in mine. So I'm gonna pull the course. I'm logging out of the course. I'm gonna log back in. Let's see here.
Okay, I've seen it. Thank you.
You got it. Okay. Now say
Yes.
that again so everybody else, because I'm sure you're not the only one that have that question. Say it again. We go to modules, and I'm trying to pull it up. Let me share my screen here.
Module under student resources, the very last link that says NUR 206, SurePath. Yep, right there.
Right there. Yes, exactly. The other thing I want to show you all, you're like, oh my goodness, where am I get these resources from? We got to do these citations. Have you all used your library right here? Click your library too. Let's see, open up in a new window. And it has all the different resources right here at your fingertips, right there under the student resources. So, just go to what applies to whatever information you're looking up. You have they have them listed by the categories here. So, and it's good about, depending on what you go in, which site you actually go into, the reference information, your citations are going to be there. So let's go back out. Modules. Okay, right here, you're going to have this student resource part. So SurePath takes you on in there. And usually your book is right there. Like mine, the book was on the side. My book was there, and then all my courses I had. So yours might look a little different. See, my book is right here. And then all the different required readings, they're set up right here. And then week 4, once we get down to week 4, did I get down to week 4 yet? That's week 2. You don't have to worry about this right now. The quiz, this is how we're going to access our quiz for week 4. It's going to be in here. But nevertheless, all your lessons and everything is in here, including your book. Now click that, and it takes on to my book. And if it asks you if you want to stay logged in, just stay logged in. That way it'll be there. If that's your device, if you're the only one using that device. So your book and everything is here. All of your chapters and everything. And then remember that the library is there too. Back in the day, you all probably are too young for this. You have to go to the library, check them out, all this stuff. It is right here. The library. And it has it's at your fingertips, literally at your fingertips. Okay, any more questions? Let me look in the chat. Are there any other questions?
Dr. Ford, my book is coming up, the 6th edition is okay. So other people have to say, I just been seeing 9th edition, and I didn't know if it was supposed to be 9th or the 6th, but I've been reading from the 6th edition.
Let's see what it's supposed to be. Let's see. I'm looking at this. I just saw that question too. I'm looking at the syllabus. Because remember I said early on, that was one of the things that now let me just share my screen here. I'm not sure what's going on with my little vision here. Okay, let me share the screen. Let me see. Is there another question? Okay, so it's about the addition. Okay, let's look and see you all. Let's refer to our syllabus. Here it is right here. All right. So you know how to get to your syllabus is here right here. And then I can make this larger so we can see it. Okay. So remember I said it doesn't happen often. But look right here, the required learning. So Stanhope is the 6th edition. What's the 9th edition is this NCLEX book. These are 2 different books. So the 6th edition is what you need for the course, but your NCLEX information this is a whole different book right here. So do you have the 6th edition of Foundations for Population Health?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have the correct book. So you need to go on your bookshelf, and this is a whole different book. NCLEX.
Oh no, I have the 9th edition for the NCLEX examination, and then the 6th edition for the Elsevier, the SurePath.
Okay. All right. So we want to make sure you have everything. Like I said, it has not happened often. When you share your screen, just back on the screen. Okay. Ms. Forsyth, anyone else not seeing my screen when I share? Sometimes anyone else not seeing the screen? Miss, you might have to log out and log back in. So, sometimes that works. So let me share one more time and then let me know if you can see. If you cannot see, then you might have to just log off. Okay. So what I'm showing now is we're back to the PowerPoint. Okay. Are you able to see the PowerPoint? It says SurePath Adaptive Quizzes Week 4. Can you see that? Yes. Anybody? Anyone in the class, can you see that? Hello? Anybody there? Let me stop sharing. Are you all talking and I'm just not hearing you all? Okay, you
I
all can
see it.
see it. Okay.
I
Yeah.
see
Okay. I was like, wait a minute, did my connectivity fall? Okay, great. Okay. So yes, turning things off and turning back on and logging out and logging back in. I don't know the rhythm, but that usually works. How they say unplug stuff and plug it back up. Okay. So, okay, quizzes cannot be made up for any reason, you all. So just make sure. I've even had students, well, hey, I'm gonna have to miss the class, the lecture part, but I want to come in and take that quiz. That's fine. You say got that quiz on it because they won't allow the rule book, handbook says you can't make up these quizzes for any reason. Now, unit exams, like I said, if you in the event that you think you need this exam proctored, go ahead and set that information up. Go ahead and start the conversation with your campus dean, the approved faculty member. Get the date and time because I'm sure they're not going to be at campus this time of night, and that's fine. Just whatever, as long as it's proctored. If you're going to be in class, make sure you have your 2 devices, your chargers. You must complete the practice exam that's scheduled for each exam, you all. Because what's happening is with all these updates to ExamSoft, to your computers on exam day, we complete that what we were doing was completing that practice exam, like week 1 or 2. But then once we got to week 3 and it was time to take the exam, there had been some updates pushed out, and students were frustrated because ExamSoft they couldn't get in and take the exam, so there was a delay taking the exam. Never mind, your thoughts are flustered, and then you're not doing your best on your exam because you're having this issue with trying to get into the exam. So what we transitioned to is a practice exam prior to each of the exams. So in the event that we're caught in the middle between a update or something, we're good on exam day. So we can go on in, take the exam, and keep on moving. Okay. All right. You're only allowed that 1 attempt.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
On the exam, you know how the exam solve, the practice, you got to have a code. Will we have a code to put in?
For the
Or
practice exam, yes.
so when is that going to come available?
We'll let you know because we're going to post one before every exam. So it'll be in the announcement section.
Okay.
We kind of try to keep it close to the exam time, as close as we can. Because like I said, now it's like updates. I don't know if you pay attention to your phones and stuff. Updates are just coming like almost every other day. It's like, what in the world? I just updated this thing. So we don't get caught in between an update. It's going to be closer toward the exam. But nevertheless, it's going to be in the announcement section.
Okay.
You are allowed 1 attempt on this exam, you all. In the event that something is going on and an issue, health, personal circumstance, if it's not going to allow you to do your best, whatever is going on, please communicate that before you take the exam. We still have, with exams, you have that 7-day window. I'd rather you say, hey, I had this flat tire. I tried to change it. The people came. They couldn't, and this was going on. I need not take this exam tonight. I need to just wait until Saturday, as long as we get it done within that 7-day window. If it's going to allow you to do your best, please communicate that. So in the event that you say, hey, I want to press on and just go ahead and take it, whatever score you have is your score. You cannot come back and say, hey, I had all this stuff going on. I really shouldn't have taken the exam. So just know right now, if you anticipate any issues that may affect your exam performance, health, personal circumstances, physical, mental, whatever, if it's not going to allow you to do your best, please discuss that with us before the exam. In the event, if you're in the exam and like we said, the weather, connectivity, like Ms. Forsyth, something was going on, she couldn't see the screen, Stop that exam and let us know. Usually there's several of us anyways in class on exam day. Let one of us know and we'll try to troubleshoot. But if it's going to be where it's going to be an issue that you won't do your best, we just need to just stop right there and just let you finish the rest of the exam on another day. So that can work itself out. Okay. So we talked about accommodations. Go ahead and let us know this week if you have accommodations. If you think you need them, we've given you the information to start the conversation with your campus dean so that you can get all the documentation in. So notifications less than 10 days before an exam may not be able to be granted in time. There's a process that must be followed. So go ahead if that's something that you think you need, because we want you to do your best. Go ahead and start that conversation. Send that email tonight, early in the morning. But nevertheless, go ahead and get it out there. So start the conversation. But if you already have them, send that to me so I can send it in to the testing administrator so they can upload and do whatever they need to do to those exams and quizzes. Whatever your accommodations say, that's allowed. We talked about the 72-hour notice. Exams, quizzes must be proctored. That means you cannot sit and take an exam by yourself or a quiz by yourself. We must be on camera the entire time. We talked about that. You will need a dry erase board. You can use a screen protector. You can even use a Ziploc bag. That's the same thing as that screen protector sheet. But we can't use any paper. So go ahead and just get that, put that to the side, put that in your place. Let me go back and read this. You need your photo ID. Got to show that before we start. We will verify that you've completed the practice exam. During the check-in process, we'll put that information out there. We'll let you know what the code is and all of that. Okay. Then what we'll do is we have to look at the complete testing environment, you all. You got to look at the 360 view. This includes walls. When you're going, you have to show your walls, the size of your computer. You have to show your floor, your chair, all of that. So just get ready. Make sure you have everything clear. So come in, you're ready to go. Show your ID, do your 360, show all these things. Have your screen protector, your Ziploc bag, or your dry erase board. There's no need for a calculator because there's one in the exam soft. Of course, on all exams, you have at least those 5 questions, those 5 math questions. If a tester has religious exceptions, please ask to discuss this issue with us. Of course, appropriate accommodations will be granted. Do not assume that we know what your individual requirements are. Send your accommodations in. Let us know if you have religious exceptions. Missed exams will be held to the late work policy. Exams missed without prior notice will be a 0. So if something's going on, just go ahead and, like I said, put our information somewhere. Go ahead and start calling, texting, emailing, saying, hey, this is what's going on. We have that 7-day window. After that 7-day window, it becomes a 0. Okay. Contact your instructor with issues that may prevent you from being successful on the exam before, not after. We're here. We want you to be successful. Let's see. We know this information. We talked about technical issues. Never know when those things pop up. Just let us know. We'd rather you stop and get all that. This is inside of Elsevier. Those little things that you should be seeing. So the benchmark is 900, y'all. We have, when I tell you, over the last couple of terms, you all have been rocking with the HESI scores. It has been really, really, because you all have done the work. So don't think that you can't do it. It's being done. It's being done. The personalized plans, they're mandatory. They have to be completed. And we'll talk about this closer to week 11 and 12 anyways. So this is the remediation part. So forget about how we used to have to do the time and the score. This is your new thing, and you should have experienced this last term. So based on your score, it creates these quiz questions, videos, and case studies for you. And students have said the feedback from last term on the survey. Students like, okay, this was good because they said that the personalized plans were more catered to their strengths and weaknesses rather than just a whole bunch of information that was there. So need your ID. We told you about that. Get 2 devices. Grade appeals. In the event we need this information, we'll share that with you. So contact us if for any problems. If it's something that's affecting you doing your best, don't hesitate in reaching out and asking for guidance. This is just your syllabus. Okay, let me make sure I read this. Late work will not be accepted without prior written approval from the instructor. Something's going on, send the email saying, hey, this is due Sunday. It's Saturday. I have this going on. So more than likely, we're going to give you that approval, but just know you have to complete it within that 1 to 7 day window, and that will be a 10% deduction. So whatever you're turning in might be a perfect paper, for example, 100%, but because you've gotten the written approval, because you communicated, the highest you would make will be a 90 because you do get that 10% deduction. So even though that the window is from Sunday to Sunday, just know you can turn things in early. You can turn things in early. You don't have to wait until that Sunday. Or just have it sitting there and just wait, and you just waiting on Sunday to hit the push button. This is just showing, we talked about that already, where the NCLEX questions were at, how to load them up. Gave you all that information. Submissions must be the number of questions required on a single submission. Okay, once submitted, the score you submit will be your score. Remember, you can repeat questions as many times as you like, you all. Get that highest score. Every point matters, you all. Screenshots are not acceptable for these NCLEX questions. So if you have to use the restroom, you all go on and come on back. Because you know we pushed our break toward the end, so we don't have much. We have about 17 more minutes. So just make sure, go on, use the restroom, grab some water if you need to. Sim chart, please complete by end of week 1. This practice one is there. Gotta get it done by Sunday. Okay, your case study, students have told us they love these because it helps them to organize their thoughts. They use the SBAR, the AdPie, and they said these case studies really have helped them better with those HESI scores, is what they've been saying. So the case study assignments, the rubrics are there. And all of these things, like I said, is not to just give you busy work, it's really to equip you so that you can have that strong foundation with concepts. And so, you can do your best. We talked about APA. Okay. This is just some food for thought, some questions here. Okay, this is some more information on APA. Remember, these slides will be shared with you. So you can always refer to these. Purdue OWL is really good. Plus, remember, you have that online library. It's just a matter of clicking. Even if you're reading those articles, it's a lot of them have where you can click and get the citation. It pre-populates it for you all. This just gives you details. APA. I think the next couple of slides are APA. In-text, reference page. So this will be shared with you, so you can always just refer back to it. Okay, and that's it for the orientation PowerPoint. Are there any questions on that information? Are we good? Any questions? We know how to get to a SurePath. We know how to get to our book. Go in from your Canvas. Oh, another thing, you all, if you don't have Outlook, I know you like, well, how did I get this far and don't have Outlook? But it happens every once in a while. Students are at the end almost, and they haven't had Outlook. Make sure that you send a help desk ticket, because you're missing communication if you don't have your Outlook mail for Fortis. While we know you can communicate inside of your Canvas shell, you need Outlook as well. Outlook as well. All right, so you will get this recording. We will provide you with the PowerPoint. And then, when we come back next week, we have that quiz 1. Woo, isn't that something? But you all going to be prepared, because we going to spend these next little few minutes looking at that content here. And I'll share the information with you also. You pull it up here. So looking in chat, I don't see any questions. Let me go back here. All righty. So I will share this with you also, but we're going to go ahead and just start looking at some more information here. So I'm going to send you the orientation PowerPoint. I will send you these little notes here. I don't know what that thing is doing. And then, what was the other thing? There's 3 things I was going to send you. The notes so you can prepare for quiz 1, which is a review from week 1. your orientation PowerPoint in the recording. That's what it is. Okay, let me share my screen. So you will get this. And remember, we're preparing. We got quiz 1, but we're gonna be ready. Share. All right. So this will be shared with you, so no fear. Quiz 1, be ready, be in on time, so we can rock and roll. So there are 10 questions. This is not an adaptive quiz. This is the way that you are accustomed to taking quizzes. It's 10 questions. You'll have the 15 minutes. It might have dosage cal. Usually you have at least 1 or 2 on these quizzes. You will need your second device. Make sure you have that. Okay. All right. How can I prepare besides reviewing this document, which will be shared with you? Go back through your required readings. We have a note taking. That was the other thing. I don't know if I shared that with you. There's a note. If you look under your announcements, there's a note taking paper there for every week. So as you're reading your required readings and going through all your activities, it tells you, you need to be taking notes on certain things. That sheet may work for you. It might not, but it is there. You want to read your chapters. You want to focus on unfamiliar material, that information that, is like, well, wait a minute, I have never heard of this. That's what you want to spend most of your time with. A lot of concepts, you remember them. You'll have that strong foundation because you had them in med-surg. You've already had them. Remember, our people have left the hospital. They're coming to the community, back in their homes, where they live, in places like that. They're at the school. They're at place of worship. So, all right, let's see. Let's go over here to slide number 4. So start us off. Community-based versus community-oriented, you all. Like, wait a minute, are those the same things? No, they're not. Community-based nursing is a setting specific. Okay? It's setting specific. So what do we mean by settings? So it is the place. Community-oriented is focused on health promotion and disease prevention in the community. Community-based is focused on illness, care for the individuals and the families. Community-oriented versus community-based. You need to know these. So remember, your questions are more than likely not going to be defined community-oriented. It's going to be, you have to know what the definition is and pick it out from a scenario. Remember, that's that next gen style. Okay. So we have private healthcare and we have public healthcare. So public is going to be, like your Medicaid, your Medicare, it's going to be the VA, those type systems, the Blue Cross Blue Shields, those private insurances, and even some healthcare professionals, they're not in network, so to speak. So they're listed also as that private healthcare. Okay. So family functions and structure. We have functional versus dysfunctional families. What does that mean? In a crisis, what does that mean? How do we respond? How does that family unit respond? Then over time, how is that family, staying sound? How is, their environment allowing them to, be the best family structure that is there? So, let's see here. Okay, levels of prevention. You all remember this now. So how do you tell me what your understanding? So come off mute. Someone tell me what primary is. I know we have prevent up there, but what's your understanding of primary?
Like vaccinations.
Okay, vaccinations, primary. And someone else was saying something else. I didn't hear the other part.
Like screening, like mammogram, colonoscopy.
Is that primary?
It's not.
Okay, so what?
Secondary.
Okay, so who said mammograms? Who was that talking?
I did.
Okay, so if it's not primary, tell me what are mammogram screenings? What are they? What level is that?
The prevention, they like screening to prevent, like, I don't know.
So we have three levels. We have primary, we have secondary, and we have tertiary. So primary is we're trying to prevent a disease, injury. We're trying to prevent something from happening. So that could be education. Someone just said vaccinations, because remember, we're trying to prevent someone, for example, the chickenpox vaccination. We're trying to prevent someone from getting the chickenpox. And even though they end up with it, that vaccination hopefully will, they won't experience, had to have the same experience had they not had the vaccination. So primary, we're just trying to prevent an injury. We're giving education about wearing helmets, putting on your seatbelt. So in the event that person does end up in a bike accident, they happen to flip off the electric bike, which that's really not biking you out. But anyways, they happen to fall off. They have the helmet on, so that will prevent a head injury. So primary is preventing an injury or illness from ever occurring anyway. Secondary is what you mentioned, that mammogram. We're screening. We're trying to determine, we're little detectives. We're trying to detect to see if there is an injury there, if there's some abnormality there. So give me another example of secondary. We said screening mammograms. What's another example of secondary? We're trying to detect, determine if there's an injury or disease process. Give me another example. Come off mute.
Checking your blood pressure.
Okay, so blood pressure screenings. A lot of you all probably have done this when we're at health fairs and things. We have people to come and sit in our chair. We talk to them. We're providing their primary. Then we take it a step further. We say, well, okay, let me check your blood pressure. We screen. Now, if that person says they have not had hypertension or high blood pressure, and we get that reading, whatever reading we get, we're just screening to this. We're trying to determine if there are high numbers that may indicate that they may have that chronic disease process. Okay, so we have screening mammograms, we have blood pressure screening, secondary. What is an example of tertiary? So let me tell you the definition, then you give me an example. Tertiary is where there is an illness or injury, and we're trying to help that person maintain, manage, or get them back to the optimal level of health. So give me an example of tertiary.
Medications to keep comorbidities under control.
Exactly. For example, antihypertensive. A person has been screened, they have been diagnosed as having hypertension or high blood pressure. So we are giving them medications to lessen that blood pressure measurement. What about if we have an education? They've asked our class to come to the wellness center, and we will be discussing dietary nutritional facts with the participants that have hypertension. Is that tertiary or is that primary? Let me give the example again. They've asked our class to come to the wellness center, and we're tasked with discussing nutritional tips. The people that will be attending have been diagnosed with high blood pressure. So we're giving out information to people that have high blood pressure.
Tertiary.
Tertiary.
It's tertiary. You're correct. It is tertiary. Why? Because the people that we're talking to already have a disease process. Our discussion with them is trying to help them manage it. Now here's a different scenario. They invited us to the wellness center, and our task is to talk about hypertension, nutrition with people that have not been diagnosed with high blood pressure. What is that level of prevention at that time?
It's primary.
It's primary, because we're trying to prevent something from happening, injury or a chronic disease process. But if they already have it, and we're going in, providing that education, we're administering that medication. If we are checking the blood pressure at that moment, if they had a disease process, that's part of their treatment. That's tertiary. But if we're coming in and just doing blood pressure screenings, and our patients do not have a disease process, we're just screening to see what their numbers are, then that's secondary. Got it. All right. So let me go back here. So what if we give the TB skin test? Which level is that? TB skin test.
Secondary.
Secondary.
Got it. We're screening. We're trying to detect or determine if they have been exposed to the tuberculin bacteria. Got it. Okay. So Medicare, who does that take care of? The elderly, 65 and older, or 64 and younger? Who does Medicare take care of? Which age group?
65 and
65 and
older.
older.
Exactly. For the most part. Now, there are a few people that are less than 65 that have certain disease processes. The only one that comes to mind right now is chronic kidney disease. Now, there are a few more. Now, they're younger. They can be younger than 65 and they can have both. But generally, it's 65 and older. We take care of our elderly. Okay. So it's a federally funded program. It's nationwide coverage. The beneficiaries, they pay the premiums. Okay. And so Medicaid, who does Medicaid take care of? This is how we're paying for our services. Who does Medicaid take care of?
Like low income population, disabled,
Okay.
chronic illnesses.
Okay. It is, but mostly income based. So whatever that income based is, wherever that persons live. So yes, it's income based. And so people can have both depending on, what's going on. But typically Medicaid is income based. Let's see here. And it varies from state to state because if your state did not accept the federal funds to expand Medicaid in your area, then you might not have services that another state may have. So it is not a one for all. Those services may vary from state to state, but nevertheless, it is income based. All right. So social determinants of health. These are things that do affect our health. Where I live, am I being exposed to smog, extreme temperatures? Do I have sidewalks to walk? Is there a safe, not if I don't have sidewalks, do I have a place to even walk or exercise? That's that built environment. Are there jobs where I live so that I can, make some money? In the event, it's like a domino effect. Can I go to work? And if it's not there, how am I going to eat? How am I going to pay for food and shelter? So social determinants of health are other things that we really might not think about. For the most part, we just think about, okay, does this person have high blood pressure? Do they have diabetes? Do they have some type of chronic disease process? But these other things, our education, our exposure to our environment, it does affect our health. It does determine our health. We were in an area and they said people that we did a survey. So we were screening. It was a survey. We were trying to detect or determine whether or not the participants engaged in physical activity. And most of them, and if you didn't, we asked the question why. Most of them said, hey, because they had sidewalks, but the sidewalks were in ill repair. They were afraid that they were going to fall down or injure themselves out there trying to walk. So yeah, so as a result of those sidewalks not being in good repair, it directly affected their health because they were not getting the physical activity they said that they would have gotten had they had those sidewalks there. Okay. So it is 9:30, 10:32 in your town. We have not taken our break. I'm going to pause here. You will receive these PowerPoints. You will receive all of this information. Make sure you go back through this so you can be ready for quiz 1. Will come from this right here. So we haven't taken our break. So we're taking our break now. We will see you on next week. Take care.
Can I ask you a question quickly before we go?
Now, hold on. Is it something that we need to go to a breakout room? Because then we're being recorded.
No.
Okay.
No.
So otherwise, hold on just one moment. Otherwise, we'll see you all next week. Okay. Go ahead. What's your question?
Can you go over private healthcare and public healthcare one more time? I did not get that.
Okay. So public is like our VAs. Public is Medicare and Medicaid. Private is like Blue Cross Blue Shield when we subscribe to those private insurance.
Gotcha. Okay. And okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So remember, I'm sending you this recording. I'm going to send you those slides so you can look at them. Be ready for quiz 1, you all. Have a good night.
Good night.
Are there any other questions? I see some of you all are still here. Is that it? Any other questions before we log out? You're welcome. All right. Take care.